Hello everyone, I'm Greyshot17 and today I'm covering GB Pirate's Mapmaker competition. Boy am I late to this one. He's been asking me literally for a month to cover it. And I did technically like 2 weeks ago, I think. I actually went over each of the maps and I was ready to put up a video, but then there was an issue with that video and I said, don't worry, I'll re-record it. And then some life stuff happened. So yeah, then there was no way I could make another video in that time frame. So I've pretty much been on like just excess video mode where I just had a lot of like backup videos where I had that while I've been busy with, like I said, some personal stuff. But now I have time and now I can get back to actually covering this right as I think the final judges scoring is happening. So this is really just kind of letting you all know that on Friday I'm going to be playing these maps, kind of get my final opinion on the final iterations of these maps. So if you would like to join my Discord and join on Friday from 6 p.m. to about 9 to 11 p.m. I'll be playing some of the better 4v4 maps in this competition. Note, I will say 4v4. Maybe I'll try some of the 3v3, but in general, I didn't want to touch like 1v1. I'm a 4v4 guy. Every tier list video, every map like review video I've done is like specifically 3v3 and 4v4, so I didn't really even want to bother with 1v1 2v2 because that's not my thing. I think most people understand that, and to people who don't, I don't know how more upfront I can be about it. But let's get to the 4v4 ones because I did go over it and I did have my thoughts and opinions on them. And again, these should have been updated since then. I'm pretty much guaranteeing it at this point. So this order could theoretically change when I originally was going over these maps based on, the map makers fixing them up. So in case they're like, well, Greyshot, the lag was fixed, or Greyshot, the color was altered. It's like, okay, these were notes I had in a previous version. Bring it to your attention, and then hopefully I'll make a final video on the final maps on my final ranking in like a week. So on that note, let's get to this. First off, no particular order, by the way, and then I'll kind of give my order at the end. We have Serroni Approach. This is by Dutch Toast. Okay. By the way, I'd made a little note. By God, you have a long description of this map. But hey, I guess a lot of detail for this. All right, so this one has like a military base in the middle of it, which in theory I like. I like the idea that two armies are fighting over a military base. And again, how he designed it is very, like, every part of the base is unique and different, which is a plus for me. I want to make sure that the maps are unique and kind of fit an area that other maps do not, or it's not just bland. And Serroni Approach has that for the middle part of the base, so good job there. The problem is I started getting some decent lag, some stuttering and other stuff, where in other maps I was not having that issue. Could be, again, something finalized toward the, as the map is finished up, that, performance is fixed, but it is something that did affect me. The other thing is, I think this map is a bit too big. I think it's too big. And while there is good, positioning with the cutoffs, I do like that, which you could theoretically do a pretty big number on the enemy based on the cutoffs. The problem as well is all the detail, in my opinion, is toward the middle of the map. There's one flank where it's just kind of plain, and another flank that has like a large building, which is fine. But again, I feel like maybe all the detail in the middle could be cut down and the map could be condensed a little bit. I feel like it's maybe just a wee too big for 4v4, at least to me. And again, with the lag and some really hyper detail in one areas, but kind of lack of detail in others, it feels like it's a little bit all over the place. So I also don't think Appennine Highlands is there yet. So this one was done by Von Smedman, and again, I like the idea. Road going through, small town, close battle proximity with your opponent, but you spread out and you technically could get more. The problem is, it's just, one, I didn't find anything that really stuck out with the terrain or anything that appealed to me. Two, while there is no stuttering, I did find there was a lack of textures, so it should blend in. And I saw so many areas where you could just see the hard copy, I don't say copy and paste, but the hard paste, and it didn't match with the environment. So really, that's where that area needs to be fixed. All right, but again, not a bad map. I just thought it just needs a bit more work, and hey, maybe final polishing will, bring that up to, up to snuff. Milky Way. Okay, I'm gonna be very honest. This was underwhelming, Kirim. So I did get a small amount of lag, but and to be fair, I mean, it looks good. But to me, what I felt really interesting was the name. It's called Milky Way, and I was like, cool. It's going to be a night map. At least when I played it, it was not a night map. When I was so confused, I'm like, the whole point of this map is it's under like the night sky, so you can see all the stars and such. And that is not the case. Also, there's like weird stuff, like a weird pond, other things. I don't know. It feels like it looks fine, but in good in areas, but other areas, like I said, with the pond and such, it's just, I don't know, it sticks out kind of like a sore thumb. The other thing that also got my eye was just like, really, to identify with a map, you need a strong hook. And I feel like he's really trying to find a hook on this map. And to me, I'm just not seeing it. Maybe y'all played it more and can, say, oh my God, Greyshot, Milky Way is fantastic. But I'm just not seeing much here to really just, illuminate it. I had a whole wedding where the whole theme was stars and moons and such, and yeah, Milky Way, Milky Way map, you are not really, you need to be a bit brighter in order to get my eye. Kind of like Mountain Warfare. This was Shadow Freak, and again, I think this is probably easy top 2, top 3 maps. Just give my opinion right there. This map looks great, and it's very distinguishable. The worst thing about it is maybe the center with the destroyed house, but the waterfall, I love the dog, by the way, on top of the waterfall, but the waterfall on the left with also the train yard on the right with the actual active train, love it. Really just helps make it stick out and really identify key areas. Because that's the thing, when I'm thinking of maps, I think of specific areas. Like steps, I know it's like, okay, that's weird, but you have the island on the steps, you have the middle canyon, and then you have like the northern plains, right? Again, the lumber yards, cemetery, the apartment stuff, again, all good stuff. I didn't have any lag, and I did win. I made a little note here about the cutoffs. I'm like, oh, okay, some good cutoffs. But one weird thing is there is the mountains with the waterfall, but I didn't feel the name worked. I feel like it needs a name change. I like, not to like put it, but it didn't feel like a mountain warfare because there's not really many hills. It feels like very much a plain. That's just my opinion. I think the weakest thing is the name, and if that's it, I'm really grasping at straws for any like true negatives. All right, the Nile, Tim Vans 999. I'm gonna be honest. You have the most unique map, and I give you full credit. Now, of course, the Nile wasn't really a battlefield of World War II. Of course, you've had like rivers in areas like mined or maybe sabotaged, but really it's in Egypt. I'm thinking of like the planes that drop mines on the rivers to try to stop British shipping or any British travel or whatever. But yeah, but it is unique enough. It is interesting enough where I'm like, I don't care. This map's great. The fact that the whole map is essentially just covered in one massive river and you're fighting in it, and there's not as many spots you might think the tanks can't navigate across or through. So again, the name works, the map works. It's very unique. It's probably, again, the most unique map in my personal opinion. I really, really enjoyed it. But it did have a little bit of navigational issues with trying to get through stuff and a little bit of glitching, some small amounts of lag. And I feel like some areas just really need to be smoothed out to make it seem more like natural. Kind of like what I was mentioning before. It feels like some areas a little bit more like someone crafted it rather than it's actual terrain or an actual environment. So I feel like some additional work there. But again, I was, if you want to go for uniqueness, Tim Vans, you did a fantastic job with making a very unique map that takes Oasis Depot and just goes in a completely different direction. and it's not a bridge map. It's a huge water map, but it's not a bridge map, and I love that. I really, really do. So if you can fix the performance, also no bubbles. I every time I hear a water map with no bubbles, I'm so excited. So thank you for not adding bubbles. But yeah, I thought it was a really damn good map for the unique area of fighting that I cannot think of another Co 3 map that is pure water based. So really great job, really unique, and I really hope you nail it with the final stuff. So again, Mountain Warfare, the Nile, just great stuff right there. Next up, 8. It's 8 bridge too far, right? Okay, this is bad. This is by Bad Bow Gunner. So all right, gonna be honest, the map is not very good. It's not really good at all. It feels like it's very much an alpha state map. It feels, in my opinion, just not close to being done. I'm just going to show footage of it. You can see here, it just doesn't look very good. Again, some interesting placements for the bases. I'll give you that, but I don't know. This whole map feels like it's very early on and needs a lot of refinement from when I looked at it. So I'm just gonna leave it there. Even other maps, I feel like we're further along than this map, which is hard to say, but yeah. Hopefully when I look at this map again, it's just in a really good state, but when I saw it, it was not. And that leaves me to the next one, Castello della Nebbia. Hopefully I got that right. This is by the Sphinx, and again, a pretty damn good looking map. It does have an issue where it's not necessarily as unique as maybe the Nile, or it doesn't have the uniqueness in terrain specific callouts that I could see for the Mountain Warfare, but it still looks really good. The center area with the destroyed tanks and everything, and the orange kind of like environment, I thought looked great. There was a little bit of red line, but I feel like that's just production. It just, you know, while touching things up. It was a little bright, but still, it needs a bit more textures in certain areas. But overall, I did like this map. For me, it really comes down to, is the game, like, I really like Inferno. I really did. For like, it was very simple, but the gameplay and the positioning of everything was really damn good. That seems to be the case here, so I want to definitely play more with randoms to see their thoughts on it and how they react. And that's how I'll do with a lot of these maps. How do people who are not necessarily the new or know about these maps, right? How do they perform on this map, and does the map with the capture points, fuel, and everything actually allow for a good long engagement? That's what I want to test on this Friday, rather than just me doing some play tests by myself and just looking at them and kind of just doing my own opinion. But this one could be a sleeper hit. I'll say that. All right, last but not least, and someone might be like, what? The Round City by Denex. Okay, this is a massive map. Technically, if this was just based on its size, this should not qualify. This is too big of a 4v4. This is like an 8v8 map. But I'm gonna be honest, come here for this one. I actually think this is not a half bad map. Honestly, I think this could be a lot worse than some other maps. But it could be a lot worse. That's because there's some areas that look really damn good, some areas not. There's way too many buildings, way too many choke points. But I love the idea of this map of like you go into an area that's like a complete coliseum. Makes no logical sense, and I'm really just doing it on vibes. But vibes are so strong that even though the gameplay is going to be garbage, I just love the idea of this map. Again, this is not a map that will work in any reasonable way, and you should absolutely put this a lot lower on your tier list or ranking list. But the Round City, I just like the environment. I like the overall feel. You need to shrink it in half, like probably minimum, and do a lot of like changes and corrections and stop with the repeated buildings and make sure there's not as choke points and all this stuff. But I see what you're going for, and I definitely would like this if it was reduced. I think you went way too big. I think you went way too grand scale. Bring it down, shrink it down, keep the same idea for the large like Colosseum like area. I like that, but you need to bring it down a lot more if you want to actually be competitive and get close to winning this map maker competition. But you probably received tons of feedback on that, so I can't be the only one. But anyway, if I had to rank the maps, I would go with A Bridge Too Far as the worst. This was just really early. Serroni Approach is my number 7. Milky Way is number 6. Round City is number 5. Technically, Milky Way would probably be a more fun map to play, but by God, Round City, you impressed me by how grand scale you were that I'll give you a subtle nod. Though realistically, Milky Way would be higher. Appennine Highlands is number 4. The Nile for me is number 3 because again, while it's the most unique, definitely has, it looks like, some gameplay features and some lag issues it needs to fix. Castello and Mountain Warfare are my 2 and 1 respectively. I think those two are definitely like up there. If I had to guess, Mountain Warfare is probably number 1 right now in my opinion, overall. Just because I feel like it's the most complete. Castello is also how to put this, is also up there, but in terms of completeness, it also includes uniqueness. If I can, Mountain Warfare, the worst thing about it is its name. Castello, I like the map, but I feel like it needs something just a little, it needs something more to be like, I remember that map, that's a cool map. That's just my opinion. And the Nile has uniqueness, it just needs the gameplay to back it up. But all 3 of those maps, well, 4, we'll add Highlands as well. I'll be playing on Friday. So if you would like to play with me with those 4 maps, again, come join my Discord. Link is down below. Hopefully you guys checking out these maps and maybe you give them a try, give the map makers some support. Again, that's the whole point of this, is to provide support to the map makers who really are the linchpin for Code 3 success and like longevity. I can't talk. For its long-term success. Otherwise, I mean, last year and a half, Relic put out a couple maps, but the map makers really stepped up. So again, just shout out to those guys like GB Pirate, Sphinx, everyone else who just went above and beyond making maps that ended up, you know, having an impact in the game in some way, shape, or form, whether just in customs through the mod community or actually making it into the game. So thank you guys so very much. But apologies for not making a video sooner. Like I said, just been a tad bit busy, but let me know what you think down below. And again, hopefully I can see you guys on Friday for some awesome Code 3 4v4 in these modded maps. But until then, it's been Greyshot17, and I'll see you guys next time.
Hello everyone, this is Greyshot17, and before y'all go, let me give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Joey G240, Milam, Big Cooch, Aphyria, Ace, Pyro Shark, Tonybee 95, Epic Pleb. Thank you all for your incredible support and helping me grow my channel and support my channel and everything I do. Thank you, and to the rest of you, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.